Hey divers, this is a follow-up video to a how-to video I did on YouTube for scuba diving off a jet ski in the Ocean off the coast of Key Largo. With this video, what I want to do is give you some confidence and prove that the configuration setup I did in the how-to video is very solid. So I'm going to go out and these are going to be some really rough seas. These are actually the worst conditions I've seen as far as for jet skiing off the coast of Key Largo. If look in the description below, there's links to the how-to videos I did before. So what I'm going to do is get this video started. The wind is blowing pretty strong, thus the conditions are pretty rough out there. So I'm going to try to put in some background music so you don't have to listen to the hum and the noise of the jet ski. But you can hear on the speakers. I was thinking about editing out the wind noise, but it goes to show for authenticity that yeah, these were some tough conditions, and I didn't lose a single piece of gear. Everything stayed snug and secure.
Oh, okay, sweet. This is going to be perfect. So hopefully this will help give you some confidence in the configuration. These are about, I don't know, maybe up to 1 foot chop right here. I'm just coming out of Fort Largo right now. But the chop like this, and if you look at the fronds on the palm trees, yeah, this is definitely going to be at least 5 foot swells out at Molasses, no doubt. Maybe even a 6 foot to 7 foot. But yeah, it's going to be a rough ride out, so I figured this would be a good time. I'll record the whole ride. Actually, I'll take the camera, I'll unmount the camera, and we'll go for I think it's going to be about a 15-minute ride, maybe 20, depending on how rough it is, out to Molasses Reef. Right over there, right over there, that's the channel that goes into and through Penny Camp State Park, right over there. So pull this off. So this is just a crew. Tanks are in, heater on the tanks, fins are in. I got my the jetpack, my BCD. So this is how we're rolling out. Got a boat coming in. That looks like one of the big ships. A lot of times when it's this rough, even the charters won't go out because it's too rough. If it's a lot of people get seasick and the big swells, they're not used to it. It's pain. It sucks. But it's about 82 degrees. It's a good, really strong wind. I think it's about at least 15 knots, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, this is going to be a fun ride for sure. Let's see if I can get the dash in. Well, seat readings. So when it says the speed, the miles per hour, I'm not so sure it's very accurate. There's a lot of things that factor into it. So I'm going to get some music going, and what I will probably do is, instead of forcing you guys to listen to the noise of the jet ski, later I'll dub some music over this, but I'll get going first, and hopefully I'll have the battery, and I got enough space on this action camera to film the whole ride out. It shouldn't be more than 20 minutes or so, but it's going to be a rough ride. So the angle of the waves, this is a pretty good angle that the waves barely from the side. So that really sucks. These are the worst type of swells to ride in. So right now I'm just trying to find the lighthouse. It's really hazy out there, so I can't see it. But, oh, swells, 2-foot swells now. The action camera doesn't capture the height of the swell very well, but they're 2 foot, and they got white caps. So right there, that's Rodriguez Key. Over there, that little island, Rodriguez Key. So that'll help me keep my bearings. So I need to go right about this angle from Rodriguez. The only way I know that, I've been out there sometimes. But these waves, yeah, they're more side waves now, so that's one thing that I'm concerned about is just about all of molasses seems to have breaking waves. They're not just swells, they're breaking waves all over molasses. This might be a bust. Molasses might be a bust. The bridge is just like a mile to the land. Let's go out to this finish and get some molasses. I'll take the camera off and show you the next one. Here's my thing. Here we go. Wrap up here now. Let's try and get this thing point out, you can see that orange, brown, bluey, like a mark, yellowish orange. Those are the boundaries around, they serve as boundaries around restricted areas. Out in Key Largo and no fishing. That's what you've got to reduce your speed on your, you got to go, I think, maximum 8 knots because scuba divers are deep in the water. Now, no weight, but I think it's maximum 8 knots. So here's what sucks is very light. 25, 30 meters. Something else too that I'm trying to observe, trying to figure out is what's the current doing? And this is one of the bizarre things. This is very common. I don't know if you can see the mooring line. The mooring line for that mooring pole, it is going the opposite direction. It is going the opposite direction that the waves are and the wind is. That's unusual. But that's actually a good thing, because what I can do is I can moor up at that mooring pole. I can swim underwater up current, and it'll be a lot safer because I'll have another mooring ball behind it if I get in trouble. I've been hanging out here now for a couple minutes. This seems like a good spot. So yeah, I overestimated. I thought it would be 5-6 foot, but nope. About the current being opposite the waves is that you're going to get twisted and pulled in these conditions against the waves. As soon as I get moored up, I will take the unmount the camera, and I'll show the gear is still attached, still secure. There's one line attached. There's little to no current. Otherwise, the jet ski would be pulling me really hard against the mooring lines. Second line getting secured. Half inches. Out. It's going to be interesting. I think what's going to happen is the waves are ultimately going to overcome the current and push me away. Oh, we got a 4-footer. Yeah, so the waves are countering the current. But the thing is, see how the jet ski's staying sideways? That's not good. What you want it to do is you want the jet ski to be pointing directly at the waves and swells. So I know the conditions are really not good conditions out here right now, because this is Saturday, it's sunny, 82 degrees off the coast of Key Largo at one of the most popular dive sites, and there isn't a single charter or dive boat out here. So I know the conditions are not good. They're rough conditions. If the charters won't come out, none of the charters, then yeah, that's a sign. Unmount the camera. So yeah, these are 3 to 4 foot swells. Water tubes, all still there. Still firm and secure. BCD still there. BCD. Jetpack. Everything is still secure. So hopefully this gives you confidence about this configuration of the kayak. Thing for a while. If the jet ski doesn't straighten out, I'll probably call it. It's not worth it. Don't want to come up to a jet ski that's tipped over. And sit out in the ocean is beautiful. One of the reasons I know these swells are at least 3.5, some of them are at least 3.5 feet, is because I measured like how high the top of my head is from where the water is when I'm sitting on my jet ski, and it's between 3.5 and 4 feet. So when they start to get up to my eyeballs, I know, ooh, that's 3.5 feet. Like this one, 4 foot for sure. For a second, it got a little bit over my head, over my eyes, higher than my head. So I know that's how I know I'm getting into 4-footers. When it comes to 5 and 6 foot above, one of the ways I know that is because when you first come out and you see that swell coming at you, you get an oh shit kind of feeling. That's how you know you're in 5 foot or more swells. In 9 foot, when they're coming at you, that's when the first time you come out, that's when you're thinking to yourself, oh, this is it, I'm done. I'm done for this reality. But when you're moored up and the current's working with the direction of the waves, the jet ski has no problem, just rolls right over it, as long as you're not breaking into waves. And that's what's got me concerned right now, is the current is working in the opposite direction of the waves. And if you'll notice, it's because of the current is working in the opposite direction of the waves are blowing me this way, that way, and the current is trying to take me this way. And it's a battle, and what it's doing is it's keeping the jet ski sideways, and you don't want a jet ski sideways in these conditions. What I'm probably going to do is probably going to call this a bust for today. I've honestly never encountered conditions extreme like this, where the current's going the opposite, directly the opposite of the waves, where the swells are actually breaking into waves. Over there, I don't know if the camera can make it out, but it looks like a California coastline in like Northern California in San Francisco. It is just, it's waves and waves and waves. So yeah, I won't touch that area. Out here, getting a little bit of swells breaking into waves, but not a lot. But I mean, all it takes is one fucking thing to come up, and then your jet ski is toast. Even if you got 2 mooring lines coming up to a turned over jet ski, not a good thing. I'm really surprised that I'm not seeing swells up to 6 foot, based upon how the fronds on the palm trees were blowing and how the conditions were just near the shore. I thought it for sure be 6. Just straight footer. Yeah. So the camera doesn't capture it, but these fucking swells are so far above my head. They're more than they're coming at me, they're more than a foot above my eye level. That's how I know they're getting up to 5. And I'm still having problems keeping the jet ski pointed directly at them, so this is gonna be a bust. The bigger swells are helping to straighten out the jet ski, but these can actually, for mooring up, I've been in 9-foot swells in a storm, and these conditions are the most dicey I've been in terms of being concerned about the jet ski tipping. And especially consider, like, if none of the big, I mean, Penny Camp, they have these huge charter boats, man, really big. 40, 50 footers, I mean, double deckers. If they're not out here, there's a good reason. So I'm gonna call it. But this is a good test. Now it's gonna be a little tricky trying to from this. The good news is going back, I'm going to be almost going directly with the waves, and that's much easier. You don't take on nearly as much water. Alright, another beautiful day off the coast of Key Largo. This gets a little dicey sometimes. So the trick is trying to get this undone with a jet ski not being in a horrible position against the swells. There's one line. Still wrapped around the mooring line on the mooring ball. Okay, so it's free and cleared. You definitely don't want to start up your ski when you got mooring lines underneath you. We're pointing it directly at the swells. Kill the engine. Oh, this is looking dicey. Start from scratch, straighten out, kill the engine again. Okay, let's motor up. Oh yeah, that's 3.5 to 4 foot. That's looking like it was going to break. Be careful when you turn around on this. Stay leaning to the side you're turning to. That's the time when you're most susceptible to tip in these conditions. That was beautiful. Right back's gonna be a lot easier.
Hopefully this video provided the proof and provides you with the confidence to go out on your jet ski scuba diving in the Atlantic Ocean. These were the worst conditions that I've ever been in 150 times I've been out on the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Key Largo and I called it quits on this. I've never seen conditions this bad. The conditions weren't that bad because of the size of the swells. The conditions were extremely bad because the swells were breaking into waves, and the waves never really got over 5 foot, or nor did the swells. But the current was pushing the exact opposite direction of the swells. Those are really dicey conditions. And just to reiterate what I said earlier in the video, If you don't see the dive boats out there, the dive charter boats out there, and it's rough conditions, that's probably a good sign. If those guys won't go out and they got 40 to 60-foot boats, double decker boats, then it's a good sign that you shouldn't be out on your jet ski. It's certainly not going to be anchored up to a mooring line and go down under the ocean, because there's a strong possibility that your jet ski, when you come up, it'll be tipped over and all your gear will be at the bottom of the ocean, as well as your jet ski might not even start afterwards. So this is a great video. I wanted to put this configuration and setup to the test. Hopefully it helped you out, gave you some confidence in the setup and config.